What if your cat has been waiting their entire life for you to understand one thing, and instead, you've been doing the opposite every single day without even knowing it? Most owners think they know their cat. They think a cat who naps all day and occasionally headbutts your hand is a cat who's content. But there are things your cat desperately needs from you that almost nobody talks about. And the silence around them is quietly costing you the relationship you think you already have. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to look at your cat completely differently. If you're new here, subscribe right now, because we make videos that decode exactly what your cat is trying to tell you. And today might be the most important one we've ever made. Here's what makes this hard to hear. None of what I'm about to tell you is complicated. None of it costs money. None of it takes much time. But if you keep getting it wrong, and most owners do without a single clue, your cat doesn't get angry. Cats don't do angry the way dogs do. Your cat just quietly stops trying. They stop asking. They stop choosing you. And by the time most owners notice the distance, it's been there for years. Here's the first thing your cat has been waiting for. Do you ever lock eyes with your cat across the room, hold the stare, and feel proud when they finally look away first? Most owners do this without realizing what they just did. In the human world, eye contact means connection. In the cat world, a direct, sustained stare is something else entirely. It's a threat signal. Among cats, a hard, unblinking stare is exactly how confrontation starts before it becomes a fight. Your cat doesn't know you're trying to bond. Their nervous system reads it as, "This creature is squaring up to me." Researchers who study feline communication have identified something called the slow blink as one of the only forms of eye contact cats actually find relaxing. A slow blink is the opposite of a stare. It's soft, half-closed eyes, held for a second, then released. Studies on cat-human interaction have found that cats are more likely to approach a person who slow blinks at them than a person who simply stares, and that cats will often slow blink back, essentially returning the gesture. That's not a coincidence. That's your cat speaking the only language of eye contact they trust. So here's the fix. Next time your cat looks at you, don't stare them down. Soften your eyes. Blink slowly, like you're getting sleepy. Look away. Then do it again later. Most owners report that within days, their cat starts doing it back, unprompted, across the room, like a secret handshake only the two of you know. That's not your imagination. That's your cat finally feeling safe enough to talk back. And if this one surprised you, stay with me, because the next one is something almost every cat owner does multiple times a day, completely convinced they're being a good pet parent. When your cat walks past you, do your hands automatically reach out? When they're curled up sleeping, do you sneak in a pet on the head because you can't resist? Of course you do. You love your cat. But here's what that moment actually looks like from their side. Cats are not pack animals. They didn't evolve the way dogs did, wired to seek constant physical reassurance from a group. Their wild ancestors were largely solitary hunters, and that instinct for bodily autonomy never left them. A cat's body is, biologically and psychologically, theirs to control. When you initiate touch they didn't ask for, you're not just petting them. You're making a decision for a creature whose entire nervous system is built around making its own decisions. This is actually one of the most well-documented sources of stress-related behavior in cats. Veterinary behaviorists widely point to what's called petting-induced overstimulation, where a cat appears to enjoy contact for a few seconds, then suddenly swats, bites, or bolts. Owners call this random or unpredictable. It is neither. It's a cat who said enough the only way they know how, after their early, much quieter signals, the tail flick, the ear rotation, the brief stiffening, were missed entirely. So what does a cat actually look like when they're asking for touch? It's the slow approach with the tail up, almost like a question mark. It's the head bump against your hand. It's them climbing into your lap uninvited and settling in. Those are invitations. Everything else, every pet you initiate while they're simply existing nearby, is you making that choice for them. Try this instead. Let your cat come to you. Keep your hands still. Offer a hand low and still, and let them choose to bump it. It feels like withholding affection. But what actually happens is the opposite. Cats who are allowed to initiate contact tend to seek out more contact over time, not less, because they've learned that being near you doesn't come with unpredictable hands attached. Keep watching, because what's coming up next is something almost every cat owner gets backwards, and it's quietly the reason so many cats develop litter box problems that owners never connect to anything they're doing at home. When did you last think about your litter box from your cat's point of view? Most owners think about it from their own. Is it out of the way? Does it smell bad to me? Is it easy to scoop? Your cat is asking completely different questions, and if you're not answering them, you may already be paying the price without knowing it. In the wild, elimination is one of the most vulnerable moments for a cat. A predator could approach while they're exposed. Every instinct your cat has around the litter box is still wired around that vulnerability, even though they've never had to think about a predator a single day of their indoor life. That's why location matters so much more than most owners realize. A box tucked into a loud laundry room, next to a rumbling dryer, in a high-traffic hallway, or right beside their food, all of that registers to your cat as exposed and unsafe. Veterinary behavior research consistently identifies litter box aversion, avoiding the box, eliminating just outside it, as one of the top reasons cats are surrendered to shelters. And in the overwhelming majority of those cases, it traces back not to a bad cat, but to a box placed somewhere that violates a need the cat never had words to express. There's also the matter of how many boxes you have. The widely cited guideline among veterinary behaviorists is 1 litter box per cat, plus 1 extra. 1 cat, 2 boxes. 2 cats, 3 boxes. It sounds excessive until you remember that to your cat, a shared, contested resource in a vulnerable moment is not a minor inconvenience. It's a risk. And then there's cleanliness. You might think a litter box is fine for a day or two. Your cat, with a sense of smell far more sensitive than yours, may be experiencing it as something closer to refusing to use a bathroom that hasn't been flushed in days. The fix is simple, even if it requires some effort. Quiet location. Away from food and water. 1 per cat plus 1. Scooped at least once a day. When you get this right, you're not just preventing a mess. You're telling your cat, every single day, that you understand something about them that most owners never bother to learn. Stick around, because the next one is the reason so many cats get labeled standoffish or aloof by owners who never once consider that they might be the reason. When did you last sit on the floor with your cat, not to clean something, not to chase them off the counter, but just to exist near them at their height? Think about your cat's daily reality. You are enormous. You are a towering, fast-moving creature who controls food, doors, and when the lights go off. Cats are both predator and prey in the natural world, and that dual instinct never fully switches off, even in the safest home. Every time you loom over your cat, some part of their nervous system is running a quiet calculation: is this safe right now? Now picture what happens when you lower yourself instead. Crouching down or sitting on the floor changes the entire shape of that interaction. You go from looming threat to something approachable, something your cat can choose to come investigate on their own terms. This is especially powerful with shy cats, rescue cats, or cats who seem to hide whenever guests come over. You could spend months trying to coax that cat out with treats alone. Or you could sit on the floor a few feet away, say nothing, do nothing, and just let your size stop being the loudest thing in the room. Most cats, given that, will eventually approach. Slowly. Cautiously. On a schedule that has nothing to do with your patience and everything to do with theirs. And when they do, that small walk across the room toward you is worth more than any forced cuddle ever could be. Your cat has been waiting for you to come down to their world instead of expecting them to constantly adjust to yours. Most owners never think to try it. Don't be most owners. And the next one explains something almost every cat owner has experienced and completely misread. Have you ever yelled at your cat for scratching the couch? Sprayed them with water? Picked them up mid-scratch and physically removed them, frustrated, wondering why they won't just stop? Here's what almost no one tells new cat owners: scratching is not a behavior problem. It's a biological necessity. Cats scratch to shed the outer layer of their claws, to stretch muscles along their spine and shoulders that don't get worked any other way, and to mark territory, both visually and through scent glands in their paws. Telling a cat to stop scratching entirely is a bit like telling a person to stop stretching. It's not optional. It's wired in. When you punish scratching instead of redirecting it, here's what actually happens psychologically. Your cat doesn't learn don't scratch. Cats don't generalize punishment that way. What they often learn instead is this specific human is unpredictable and sometimes frightening to be near, which is the opposite of what you're trying to build. What actually works, according to behaviorists who study this, is redirection, not suppression. A scratching post that's tall enough for a full stretch, stable enough that it doesn't wobble, and placed near the area they already prefer to scratch, not hidden in a corner they never visit. When a cat starts scratching something off limits, calmly redirecting them to the appropriate post, then rewarding the correct choice, reshapes the behavior far faster and without damaging trust. Here's what most owners miss entirely. They want a calmer, more affectionate cat, but they punish one of the most natural things that cat does every single day. A cat who associates you with sudden, scary corrections doesn't have the security to fully relax around you, even during the good moments. One more. And this last one is the one that hits hardest, because you've had the chance to do it every day, and almost no one ever told you it mattered. Do you talk to your cat? Not just calling their name to come eat. Actually talk to them, the way you'd talk to someone you share your life with. A lot of people do this quietly, almost embarrassed, when no one else is around. You shouldn't be. It turns out that instinct is one of the most important things you can do for your cat. Here's something that rarely comes up in conversations about cat behavior. Cats have lived alongside humans for roughly 10,000 years, but unlike dogs, they were never selectively bred to read and respond to human communication the same way. And yet, research on cat cognition has found that cats can distinguish their own name from other words, and a study out of the University of Tokyo found that cats can recognize their owner's voice specifically, differentiating it from a stranger's voice even when the words and tone are similar. Cats are also remarkably attuned to vocal tone. Soft, slow speech tends to read as safe. Sharp, loud, or sudden speech tends to read as a warning sign, the same way it would to a smaller, more vulnerable creature sizing up its environment. So when you talk to your cat, gently, consistently, about nothing important at all, you're doing something that goes deeper than it seems. You're giving them a steady, predictable signal of your mood and your presence throughout the day. You're saying, in the only way they're truly built to receive it, I see you, and you're safe here. You don't need a script. Say good morning. Narrate what you're doing in the kitchen. Talk to them while you work. Because every time you do, you're treating them like what they actually are. Not background scenery in your home, but a creature who has built their entire sense of safety around reading you correctly. Your cat is not asking for constant attention or forced affection. They're asking for something quieter than that. Space to choose you. A body that's theirs to control. A bathroom that respects how vulnerable they feel in it. A human willing to get small enough, and patient enough, to be approached instead of approaching. They've been asking their whole life, in a language built entirely out of slow blinks, raised tails, and careful distance. Most owners never learn to read it. If this changed how you see your cat today, send it to someone who loves their cat and has no idea any of this is true. And subscribe to channel, because every week we go further into the world your cat actually lives in, so you can finally understand them.